Children, now let's listen to the explanation of Granny's tree climbing. Pre-reading task. Which of the following tasks do you associate with your grandmother? That is, whether your grandmother is very good in cooking, knitting, sewing, preparing pickles, or climbing trees. Now, climbing trees, there's a question mark. That is, it is an impossible task for a granny to climb tree because of her age. Second one, have you ever climbed a tree? Did you find the task easy and enjoyable or difficult? So what you have to do is, you will have to jot down the points. You write your views about climbing the tree. Third, do you know what a treetop house is? Here you can have a picture of the treetop house. And then how different it is living in a treetop house would be than an ordinary house. Obviously, living in a treetop house, you can enjoy more, you can hear the birds singing and the leaves dancing. Everything is all about enjoying nature. Now let's look at the poem. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees. So the poet says that my grandmother was a genius. And who is a genius person? Who is very talented, a multitasking personality. So the poet questions us saying that you would like to know why my grandmother was a genius person? Because she could climb trees. Because this is a rare phenomenon where a granny climbing a tree, and especially at that particular age. Spreading or high. This refers to the tree. Whether the branches are spreading or whether the tree is high, she didn't bother. She would be up the branches in a trice. That is, she was very quick in climbing the tree. You can get the meaning of the word trice. It means very quickly. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. The poet is saying that mind you. Mind you means bear in mind that when she was 62 years old, yes, that was the last time she climbed a tree. Ever since childhood, she had had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. Now, right from childhood, she had this particular gift. And what gift is that? That is gift of climbing a tree. Now, you might be wondering as to why had and had is being used twice. But I tell you, children, that is, the past perfect tense is used when we are talking about the past and want to refer back to an earlier past time. That is, already grandmother had this particular gift. She knows about climbing the tree. And she would be more happier in a tree than in a lift. Now you have to make a note of the rhyme here. Gift, lift. And though as years went by, she would be told. As years went by, this refers to the time. Though the time passed away, should be told repeatedly, saying that climbing trees should stop when one grew old. So obviously the family members are quite worried, and they said that you need not venture into this kind of work. And that growing old should be done about gracefully. So they cautioned us, saying that very gracefully. That means with lots of dignity you will have to lead your life, and you should not climb the trees. And for that, what she would do, she would only answer them by laughing. She would laugh and say, well, I'll grow old disgracefully. I don't want anybody's praises. I don't want, to grow old gracefully. So she says that I don't mind, if people will talk anything about me, but I want to climb trees, she used to say. I can do it better. And we had to agree. So she says that whatever it is, I don't care, but I want, to climb a tree. For in all the garden, there wasn't a tree she hadn't been up. So in the whole garden, you can't even find a single tree, that is being spared by her. That is, she had climbed all the trees. At one time or another, having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. So here, this particular art of climbing the tree was taught by whom? By her loving brother. And that too at the age of 6. But it was feared by all that one day she would have a terrible fall. They said that, okay, fine, you have got all the talent of climbing the tree, but at this particular age, if you venture into climbing trees, it means that you're going to have a terrible fall. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and couldn't come down. So what was the outcome? Outcome means a result. The result was different. Why? Because when all the family members went to town, she happily climbed a tree and she could not come down. As there was nobody to caution her, she climbed the tree, but the sad part is she could not come down. We went to rescue, and then the doctor took Granny's temperature and said, so all the family members were quite anxious, and what they did was, they brought the doctor. And the doctor checked the temperature, Granny's temperature, and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. He said that I advise her to take bed rest, that is for a week. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Thank God, at least, now she will not climb trees. They were quite relieved. And they tucked her up well. Tucked her is, they have just, made her sleep well in the bed. Poor Granny. For her, it was like a brief season in hell. Granny was not used to all this kind of, taking rest and all that. Like now, how you people are feeling during the lockdown period. The same manner, Granny was feeling so stuffy. All the time she was used to, going about, moving about, and she was confined totally to her bedroom now. While every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. Here, all the time, she is within the four walls, within a bedroom, and then while every breeze, the nature was, tempting her, because every breeze was whispering of summer and dancing leaves. She could not, enjoy the summer season, the dancing of the leaves. She was missing all that. But she held her peace till she felt stronger. But still, she was helpless. And she said, okay, let me recover now. Then after she gained little strength, then she sat up and said, I lie here no longer. Lie here, it means that I'm not going to stay here any longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted. Now the meaning of undaunted is firmly and enthusiastically. She called my father. My father refers to the poet's father. And then, very firmly and enthusiastically, she said that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. She was so adamant and she said that I'm not going to stay here anymore in this bedroom. But what I want is a house in a treetop. My dad knew his duties. So obviously, children will listen to the parents' words. So he knew his duties. He said, that's all right. I'll have what you want, dear. So he said, don't worry, Mama. I'm here to do all whatever you want. and I'll start work tonight. He assured her, saying that I'm going to build you a treetop house. With my expert assistance, he soon finished the chore. With my refers to the poet. So it means that Granny's son as well as grandson, both of them finished the chore. And what is the meaning of chore? Chore means job. Made her a tree house with windows and a door. So very nicely they have made a tree house with windows and doors. You can have a look at the picture. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with glasses and a tray. So obviously Granny, she's enjoying now, but she requires something to drink, right? So she sits there in state and drinks cherry with me. In state. In state refers to in grand style, saying that, wow, now I can enjoy the nature. She's so relaxed and she drinks cherry with me. With me refers to the grandson. Upholding a right to reside in a tree. So upholding here, it means yes, I have got the right to stay in a tree house now. I can enjoy. Now nobody can disturb me. This is how Granny was successful in making her to stay in a treetop house. Hope you have enjoyed, children. Thank you. Children, let's discuss about the figures of speech used in the poem Granny's Tree Climbing. Simile. What is a simile? Simile is a direct comparison of two unlike items using like or as. Example, he fought like a lion in the battlefield. It means that when two unlike items are being compared using the word like or as, that is known as simile. Now the line which is being used in the poem is like a brief season in hell. Now why this particular line is known as a simile? Because the word like is being used. And what is a comparison over there? For Granny, confinement to bedroom and taking rest is compared to spending time in hell for some time. That is, as Granny was asked to take rest, she was supposed to be in the bedroom. For her, spending time here in the bedroom was just like spending time in the hell for some time. Is it clear, children? So it is like a brief season in hell is, like is, when we are saying that this is regarding her stay in the bedroom, which is compared to the brief season in hell. Now similarly, if you want to use as, example for as, Sita was as cool as cucumber. So here the word as is used. So what is the comparison over here? She with a cucumber. And some other examples are, his bag was as light as a feather. So simile means when you have got the words like or as. And the comparison is between two unlike items. Thank you. Children, let's see what is the alliteration used in the poem. That is the repetition of the consonant sound. Now look at this. She could climb. So you have got the K sound. So this is an alliteration. Could and climb. Now similarly, on the next page, you have she climbed a tree and couldn't come down. Climbed, couldn't and come. So it is a repetition of the consonant sound. So that is why it is known as alliteration. Now next line you see, we went to the rescue and then the. So the repetition of the W sound there. We went, then the. Now let's proceed. But she held her peace. Held and her. These are the repetition of the consonant sound. Then sat up and said. Sir sound, sat up and said. Then made her a tree house with windows. With and windows. So these are all the repetition of the consonant sound. And similarly, we have got, as stated in the example, she sits there in state and drinks cherry. So here you have got the repetition of the consonant sound, she and sherry, and sits and state. Then the last one we have, upholding her right to reside in a tree. So there you have got right and reside. So all these are the alliteration that are used in this particular poem. Thank you. Children, let's try to understand what is the meaning of rhyme scheme. A rhyme scheme is a pattern of rhymes at the end of each line of a poem. That is, when rhyming words are used at the end of each line of a poem, it is known as rhyme scheme. Now let's glance at the example. I saw a little frog. He was cuter than can be. He was sitting on a log, and I'm sure he croaked at me. Now look at the last word, frog. Frog is rhyming the word log. So that is why it is given as AA. Next is B and me. So it is being written as BB. So what's the rhyme scheme over here? AB, AB. Now let's look at this nursery rhyme. Mary had a little lamp, its flea as white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamp was sure to go. So what are the rhyming words over here? Lamp, snow, went, go. You have got only two rhyming words over here, snow and go. That is why the rhyme scheme is ABCB. Let's push on to the next one, a very familiar rhyme. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. So what are the rhyming words? Star, R. So it is AA, high and sky. So it is BB. So did you understand, children? Now, in case there is no rhyme scheme in a poem, it is known as free verse poem. If there is no rhyme scheme at all, it is known as free verse poem. And William Shakespeare was very famous in writing free verse poems. Now, let's look at the rhyme scheme that is being used in the poem, Granny's Tree Climbing. Look at that. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why. Why? Because she could climb trees, spread or high. So here you have got the rhyming words, why and high. She would be up their branches in a trice, and mind you, when at last she climbed a tree, she was 62. So, U and 2 are rhyming. So, the rhyme scheme is AABB. Similarly, the next stanza you take. The last word, gift, is rhyming with the word lift. So, it is AA. And told is rhyming with the word BB. So, you can conclude that the rhyme scheme used in this particular poem is AABB. So I hope all of you understood what's the meaning of rhyme scheme. Thank you. Children, our next figure of speech is personification. Now, what is a personification? When human qualities are given to non-living objects or animals, it is known as personification. The word itself tells you person. That means when qualities of human being are given to non-living objects or animals, it is known as personification. For example, we have the sunlight danced. Can the sunlight dance? No. But here the human quality is given to non-living, and that is why it is known as personification. The streets are calling me. Can the streets call you? No. But again, it is being personified. Lights will guide you home. Obviously, lights will never guide, but it's only the quality that is being given to the non-living. So in the poem, what are the lines which specify personification? Every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. How can the breeze whisper and then the leaves dance? Again, as we discussed, these are the qualities that have been personified in the non-living objects. So this particular line symbolizes personification as human qualities are given to breeze and leaves, that is whispering breeze and dancing leaves. So remember children, personification means when human qualities are given to non-living objects or animals, that is known as personification. Thank you.